What is up, everybody? Welcome to Funkatopia WTF. Welcome to Funkatopia. As you can see by these amazing WTF mugs that you can get at funkatopia.com/shop. Man, I hope everybody is doing good tonight because holy cow, we have some amazing things going on tonight. First off, tonight, we're good. This is the pre-show. For those who are not familiar with this, this is just the Funkatopia Live pre-show. Stay with us. The official show starts at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I normally come on about 15 minutes early just to kind of say hello to everybody and make sure that you guys are all doing fantastically well. Kenny T, what is going on, my man? Samantha, Krista's in the house. Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure what to do here because first off, we have an amazing guest coming on at the 8 o'clock hour, the one and only George Porter Jr., the founder of The Meters. And I mean, New Orleans funk legend is going to be in the house. So there's that. Let's just start there. What's up, Christina from Minneapolis, Revolution 86, back in the house. So let's start there. Also, there's like lots of like little tidbits of music news that are kind of popping in. And I don't know if you guys saw this. Wasn't an official release, but DJ Rashida randomly dropped a unreleased track online and of unreleased music from Prince. And it's a song called Keep On Loving You. And I was like, what's happening here? And I always have to kind of listen to some of these tracks because sometimes these songs come out and they don't come from official sources, and you think, could this possibly be a AI recreation? I don't know. It's just come on. I mean, you never know. But I listened to it and re-listened to it, and we're gonna listen to it tonight together, all of us. We're gonna listen to it. So if you haven't listened to us, don't worry about it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna pay attention. Yes, Johnny's like #George Matters. Yes, it's gonna be. Let me tell you, there's a lot to say about George Porter Jr. and besides the fact that he is a founding member of one of the founding members of The Meters, but consistently. Guitar World, Bass Guitar Magazine, Rolling Stone, whenever they do a list of like the top whatever bass players in the world, he's consistently on it. So there's that. So it's going to be pretty friggin' awesome. So also we're going to talk a little bit about the Purple Rain House. Because Funkatopia and Greg Brown got an opportunity to stay there and took some photos and whatnot. And I know there's a lot of people that have already been at the house, stayed at the house, but like me, I have not. I've been to the house. Matter of fact, Rob Rhythm and myself walked around that house before it was the Airbnb thing that it is now. We walked around the house and we enjoyed it and took it in and absorbed it. And it was pretty cool. Hey, Rich, Kentucky's in the house. Very, very cool. And it was all still boarded up and they really hadn't done anything with it. I think the interesting thing about the mystique of the Purple Rain House is that it's not Prince's house. It's just a house that was in the movie. But I think the way that they kind of did it and reconstructed it and put things up and whatnot, it was just, it was interesting to see exactly how that all shook out. So I think there's just a lot of mystique with it. One of the weird things that I don't completely understand, Jeremy, Tampa, what's in the house? What's going on, man? Got to say, man, your Buccaneers are looking like they're starting to get their second win. Little something going on there down in Tampa. Hey, you know what? I had to wear my Falcons Outcast jersey. Well, not really a jersey. It's actually a hoodie, but I got the Outcast. So anyways, all that being said, there's a lot of mystique about this, and it's not just the fact that people are going there and they're kind of having like a moment, because Prince was in that, he did do some film recording in that house. There was some things that happened in that house, but I don't know. We're going to talk about it tonight because going to have Greg come in and show some photos and kind of talk about the experience and whatnot. And I was just like, you know what? I am interested in trying to figure out exactly, how much does it cost to stay at this house? And so I looked it up on Google and I said, how much does it cost to stay at the Purple Rain house, the Airbnb Purple Rain house in Minneapolis? And multiple messages came up and said $7 per person, and 4 people can stay there. And I'm like, $7? What do you mean $7? And so I looked it up, and sure enough, that's how much it costs to stay at that Airbnb, the Purple Rain house, is $7 a person. So when Greg told me that he stayed at the house, and I said, I'm just curious. You don't have to tell me if you don't want to, because I know a lot of people get embarrassed when, they spend too much money on something. I said, how much was it to stay at the house? And he was like, he said roughly it was $20 something dollars, $28 or whatever it was. And I'm like, what? I don't understand. How is it $7? How is staying at that house, an iconic house from Purple Rain, with all the stuff, all the unreleased stuff, musical equipment, the experience, the whole thing, why does it only cost $7 per person? You can't even get a scary motel for that. Something is not making sense to me, and I don't understand. And he said, we're going to talk about it. Okay. First off, when we come to 8:00 hour, we're going to be interviewing the one and only legendary bass legend, George Porter Jr. So I'm really excited about that. So we're doing that first. That's the first thing that we'll do. But then afterwards, we got some other stuff to talk. We're going to bring Greg in. We're going to talk about the Purple Rain house and just kind of get some other stuff. We got it. I need to figure this out because this does not make sense to me. I get that there's a marketing gimmick in it or whatever. I don't know. So I went onto the Airbnb thing and I was just like, Purple Rain house, and it says sold out. So I don't know how, I just don't understand it. Plus, we'll talk about it because I don't want to give everything away that we're going to be talking about regarding this Purple Rain house, but it does not make any sense to me. I can't wrap my head around it. I don't know. But we're going to talk about it. You know that. We're going to talk about it. That's what we do. Thank you guys so much for coming tonight. And we got lots of news to talk about as well. Just funny, weird things funny, weird things that are going on in the just online, just weird little things, little various anniversaries that happened, like it's the 33rd anniversary of Michael Jackson's Dangerous album. I think that's worth noting. Kendrick Lamar dropped a surprise album over the weekend. It was just like random. He just dropped a full-blown album without any warning, or just dropped it. Lots of really cool things going on that we will be talking about. Yes, and Jeremy says yes, and there is a Prince leak. That is a song called "Keep on Loving You." And we'll be playing that. We're going to play it. We're going to listen to it tonight. We're going to listen to it because it's out there. So we're going to listen to it together. And I don't necessarily understand where this is coming from. I got some details from folks about it. There's some assumptions about the time frame that it came out. There was apparently during the last celebration, and I'll reiterate this when we get back into it, but during the last celebration, the VIP folks got to hear some unreleased tracks. And one of the tracks that they actually got to hear was a song named Calabama. So it's California and Alabama that was meshed together. It's called Calabama. And somebody said that Calabama was not just a song name, that he was also considering creating an album called Calabama. And that this song that has been leaked came out somewhere around the 2002 realm and was supposed to be considered for something. I could see it. It definitely has that sound, just when you listen to the instrumentation of it. But it doesn't matter. We're going to listen to it together, and you guys can decide. And I'm not just going to play a clip. I'm going to play the whole. We're going to play the whole song, and we're going to listen together. We're going to listen together. We're going to all hold hands and listen to this track together. So yeah, DJ Rashida apparently put this out there. I don't know where, I don't know if she's working in conjunction with folks or whatever, but you know us, we're going to listen anyways. What is going on? Parker City 70 coming in from Louisville, and Lisa's calling in from Texas. Joni, I'm not even gonna, I see what your comment is, and I'm not even gonna go there. I think there needs to be some other people at whatever. We'll go into it. Revolution 86 says Sade has a new song out too. Yeah, I would love to hear that. Yep. Kenny says today is Tina Turner's birthday. Yep, it is. We talked about that on the Facebook page, facebook.com/Funkatopia. It is Tina Turner's birthday today. She would have been 85 today, 85. And I think what's magnificent about this woman is the fact that she broke. Like, obviously, she had a long career before that with Ike and Tina Turner. But when she broke out and did the solo thing, and she broke out, like in the 80s, she was the late 40s, early 50s when she broke out, which is insane. I mean, you think about how big that she was and how much of an impact and how much out there that she was in the 80s, and to be as old as she was. But I have to say, even though I think about that, I listen to today's music and I'm just like, this is kind of unusual, because the music that's out there right now is it's so, I'm sorry, there's a lot of music that's not on the radio that is perfectly fine and it's great, like the new music that's coming out from George Porter Jr. that we're going to be talking about here in just a second. But as a lot of music that is completely 100% disposable. It may be on the radio right now, but you guys probably could not name most of the songs that were on the radio a year ago, because they come, they go, they're gone. So it's just the kind of nature of the cyclical nature of music nowadays, is just kind of, let's just get it out there. Let's just kind of make a move. But I listened to a lot of songs that were on the radio back in the 80s. And I listened to some of the stuff, some of the more popular stuff from Phil Collins and just Foreigner and things like that. And I listened to some of the stuff that's on the radio that they play on 80s radio, and I think to myself, wow, we were just so different people back then, because the music that was out was just like, I can't even believe that this song even had a chance on the radio. We just listened to music so differently back then. It's just what you have to do nowadays to even get a nod or even to kind of get radio play is just shocking to me. So anyways, all right, ladies and gentlemen, it is the 8 o'clock hour. So I am going to go ahead and take away this pre-show scroll, because I want to go ahead and get into it. I already told you, kind of gave you a little bit of insight into some of the things that I'm going to be talking about tonight. But tonight, I have the distinct pleasure of interviewing somebody that I have followed for many, many years, just from afar, just watching him play live in a variety of different settings, with a variety of different bands, and just mixing and matching with amazing artists. And it is truly, truly an honor to have this gentleman on stage tonight, right here live, Funkatopia Live. So please, please give a warm round of applause to bass legend, one of the founding members of the Meters, the one, the only, George Porter Jr. in. Come on now. Now, see, I had to wear, because I know you're a New Orleans man, but I had to wear my Falcons gear just because. I just had to. Come on now.
It's understood.
If you would like for me to wait so you can go put on some Saints gear, I'm okay. I'll hold.
No. I'm good. I got on my stuff. Tie-dye.
It is. I mean, truly, it is an absolute honor to have you on board. And I mean, obviously, one of the primary reasons why you're here is mainly because of the fact that you have some brand new music that is coming out early next year. Matter of fact, you also have a brand new single that is out right now. And I actually have a little clip that I'll share a little bit later once we kind of get talking and whatnot. But tell me about this new album and, you know, some of the players that are in the mix with the Running Partners right now, because I think you have a new member or two that have kind of slipped into the fray. Give me a little bit of background on this new album that's coming out.
Well, the record, we went into the studio with the idea of trying to. In fact, when we went in the studio to do three total different records, and one was going to be an instrumental, kind of leaning on jazz, you know, trying to be a kind of a lean on some jazz, and but that we just, for some reason or another, we just stayed funky.
Yeah, I mean,
so the jazz thing didn't happen. But we at the same time we did a vocal Running Partners, a typical Running Partners record would be singing, and then we did 12 songs of my from my past, you know, all cover songs of some of my favorite songs, Bobby Bland, Earl King, Benny Good, not Benny Goodman, Benny King, you know. So, you know, some of my old R&B stuff that I kind of enjoy singing on my Monday night gig at the Maple Leaf on the second set, you know, kind of do some of that old R&B stuff. And the idea when we went into the studio was to record the way that the Meters did. We used to all go, the original band would go into a room, and we would be, you know, within probably, we could throw things at each other and hit somebody, you know. And so it wasn't no isolation and everything. We would we played off of each other. So that was the idea of going about doing the recording. And you know, the keyboardist Michael Limler, he's been in the band for 27 years almost. I think this year is his 27th year. Terrence Houston is the drummer. He's been in the band for I think like 15 years. And the new kid on the block is Chris Atkins, the guitarist, who has been in the band for probably like 7 years now. So he's not really a new kid on the block, but you know, he's like he's a wonderful guitarist, and you know, and I can't say enough about Chris, because he remembers, he knows all of my music. He learned all of my music, and every chance he gets, he brings up, you know, hey man, we ought to play this, man. It's a great tune, man. We ought to play this, you know. So almost every time we play, Chris comes to the table with an old song from the late Meters days, you know, and we played last week on up in Savannah, Georgia. He pulled out Stretch Your Rubber Band. which hadn't been played in 30 years.
Wow, that's incredible. So, and I obviously want to talk about the Meters because, it's such an historic and it literally is a woven part of the fabric of New Orleans funk. And so can you tell me exactly, when you and I guess, you and Art Neville at the time, this was in the 60s, kind of decided, what was that commonality that you guys said, hey, I want to start a band and this is a style of music that I like, and hey, I like that style of music too. What was the commonality that kind of got you guys together and kind of got that ball rolling for the Meters?
Well, the truth of the matter is that Art Art had heard me play originally as a guitar player, and he was not impressed. In fact, when he brought me home that night, all our way home from the gig, he didn't say a word to me until we was probably like 2 blocks from my house, and he just leaned over and told me, said, "Man, you're the worst guitar player I ever see, ever heard." And I figured, I figured that, that was be the last time I ever see Art Neville, So the truth of it is that I was the last guy brought into the band because the bass player that was originally in the band, Art basically stole Sam Henry's band. Sam Henry had a gig up at this club called the Nightcap, and Sam Henry was a B3 player, and Leo Nocentelli was on guitar, and there was the bass player name was oh man, why it just was in my head. God, I can't think it. I lost it. But
And then we can't.
He got drafted, and to keep from ducking the draft, he joined the Marine Corps. And so that's how he split, and went into the Marine Corps, and that's when Art Neville was hanging out with Fats Domino one night, and they both came into a club where I was playing with a guy named Irvin Bannister at the time. This time, by now, which was about a year and a half later from the time when Art told me I was the worst guitar player you ever heard, I was playing bass, and he saw me on bass, and and at the time I only had 3 strings on his bass because the fourth nut was missing from the tuning thing was missing from the bass, and at the time I didn't know that I can go buy another one. I didn't know you could go to a music store and buy that part. And he saw me playing and he said, "Now that's the instrument you ought to be playing. You want a gig?" And I say, when Art Neville offer you a gig, because Art Neville was famous, he was one of the names that local people talked about, Art Neville, Earl King, Ernie Cato, Benny Spellman, Art Neville's name was in that market, in that community. And so I said, yeah, absolutely, and that's how I got to be the bass player in that band. And we played at the Nightcap for well over a year and a half. And then we moved, and Alan Toussaint had started visiting us at the Nightcap, but not coming in. He would come and stand in the doorway and listen at us play. And basically at that time, we were a cover band. We were playing, 5-step steps. We were playing all kind of, not 5-step steps, up and away people, Fifth Dimensions,
Right.
Wes Montgomery, Leo was playing Wes Montgomery. We had a saxophone player in the band at the time named Gary Brown. And and when that gig folded, we went and we was off for about a month, and Art called us up and said, "Hey, I got us another gig," and it was a club called the Ivanhoe in the French Quarters. And we went into the French Quarters, and down there, I think is when we really crafted our youth, how you playing off of each other so well, because we were playing 6 nights a week. We were playing 6 nights a week, and on that Sunday that we was off, me, Zig, and Leo would go play. We would go play swing and jazz with this saxophone player named Johnny Panino. So me, Zig, and Leo was playing every night. 7 nights a week, and So so we had kind of gotten, we almost kind of like gotten mentally one unit, one person thinking wise about how, and we played off each other so well. It was like, and the thing, we got introduced, we got invited by Marshall Sehorn called RT because Art, Alan had wrote songs for Art. Him and Art had a relationship, and I believe Alan, and Leo had a. I believe Leo had played on some early Lee Dorsey stuff, some of the Lee Dorsey stuff that before I played on them, and so Marshall called called Art, and told him that Alan wanted us to come down, and do an audition, and so Art said, hey man. Told the band, so I think it was like a Monday or Tuesday, we went down to the thing, and we had to be at the Ivanhoe that night. So we was down at Allen like 10, 12 o'clock in the day. So early in the morning, and we did an audition. We just Alan came in, giving us dictating music to us, and it ended up being a Lee Dorsey session that we ended up doing, and that's how we got the gig. At that point, Marshall Sehorn one day, maybe like 2 or 3 months later, kind of told us that, he said, hey man, after a Lee Dorsey session, we was at Cosmos Studio, and he said, why don't y'all lay a couple of tracks down, play something, and so out of that 4 songs that we played, Sophisticated Sissy was one, Sissy Struck, Here Come the Meter Man, and the flip side to Sophisticated Sissy, I believe, was Sehorn's Farm, I believe. And
all classics.
So that was, and that was, so at that, we had these songs, and then we went back to work, and at the Ivanhoe, and Marshall had put out Sophisticated Sissy, and then he, I think we got the call. RT called us and told us to say, man, one of our songs is on a radio, and say, what song we got on the radio? Because we didn't even name the song. They were just one, band 1, band 2, band 3, band 4.
Oh, my.
And it was called Sophisticated Sissy. And then we come to find out it was one, it was the first song, the first track that they put out.
Okay, well, who named the song then?
Marshall Sehorn, I'm assuming. I know I never really knew. I would assume that Marshall Sehorn, or either maybe Alan did it. We never was told who named that stuff. I mean, that whole first album, we had no input on the names of every song that's on that record.
So Sissy Strut is like, I mean, obviously, it's one of the biggest and most recognizable songs that you guys didn't even name the song. So you don't even know what Sissy refers to. Does it refer to anything or a person?
There was a dance back in the middle 60s called a Sophisticated Sissy.
Okay.
And it was a dance that was, very popular in the gay community. And so I mean that's the only part we can come up with.
Okay. So there's that. Well, I mean, to talk about, Alan, rest in peace. I mean, Alan Toussaint, tell me a little bit about him, and as far as, his impact on your sound and how you guys kind of structured music. And I mean, you kind of gave me a little bit of story about how this relationship kind of blossomed. Did it kind of step in as a manager of sorts or a producer of sorts? And what was his actual title with you guys?
As a title with us, he was our employer.
Okay.
For as the meters, became the meters, Alan never laid a finger on any of our songs as it was being recorded or put. Alan didn't really produce our records as a producer. He just produced our records on paper. He never interfered with anything that we was doing. He just left us alone, and to our own devices, and let us record what we wanted. And
that's unusual.
That's the pretty bad. I think to answer your original question, how did we? I think that when we were doing the Lee Dorsey stuff, I believe that, I was kind of a busy bass player. So I was a member of the Mo Notes person. And Alan kind of got me into the understanding that, he used to always say, it's not what you play, it's what you don't play that's going to make this song happen. So leave some space, leave some notes away, drop a bunch of notes, and just play, play what my left hand is giving. He gives most 90% of the songs that I recorded with Alan Toussaint, my bass line is in his left hand. And so
Wow.
So it was like what I learned through the maybe not direct uh, um, instructions, but just by paying attention, that I learned how to use space better than I was using before as a bass player.
Right. That's incredible. Now, were you from a musical now, I know you're a junior. Uh, did you come from a musical family? Tell me about senior.
Not at all. Nobody in my family played. My dad listened to a lot of jazz, and my mom was in a Catholic school choir. So we heard there was music in the house. There was the neighborhood we lived in. There was second line things all the time, because
Right.
there was there was a social pleasure club not far from our house. And the members were the aging members. When they passed away, there would always be a second line. So I heard that. I heard street music, from a young age. So no, to answer that question, no, there wasn't no hand me down from above, family above the music. I got it. My mom gave me a guitar. My mom didn't actually. My grandmother bought me a guitar for my 8th birthday, and my mom caught hell for it because my dad thought my mom spent his money on a guitar. But my mom, for me to have this guitar, I had to take lessons. So and it was a nylon string guitar. So the teacher that I was going to thought that because of the type of guitar I had to play, classical formula. So he taught me how to play. Had taught me how to play 10 fingers. Learn how to play the classical formula, and read. But the music I was reading and playing was cowboy music. Home on the Ranch, Red River Valley. Those songs, because. And I got the idea. I got his theory much years later, that it was much easier to play those cowboy songs and learn the fingering, and the technique playing those songs, rather than trying to learn how to play Segovia. And when I heard, years later, when I heard Segovia, I said, "Oh, I'll never play that." Never. But it was a guy named Papi, Benjamin Francis, and his grandfather. One day on my way to my Saturday, on my way to my guitar lesson, I heard this music, and I slowed down and listened, and I noticed that his grandfather was playing with this, playing his right hand was using all of those all 4 fingers and the thumb, and I said, well, that's the music. If I'm gonna play like this, that's the music I want to play. And
Right.
it was some St. Louis woman, and blues stuff. And I said, man, that's what I want to play. So that turned my head away from cowboy music.
Yeah, and then of course you ended up in the funk realm, technically with the Meters. But was it really considered? Were you guys really categorizing yourself as funk? Because the Meters had their own sound. It was like this bayou type of. You can't even explain it, because if you were in it at the time when it came out and you heard it, it wasn't. It didn't fit. It didn't fit perfectly into the funk mold. It didn't fit. It kind of had its own vibe and its own sound. Did you guys feel like you were being miscategorized, or or you were just doing your thing and just however people wanted to receive it
Well,
was
first of all, when our stuff first came out, it was not considered funk. It was no the word funk was not being categorized in music at all. You know, I think that and this I always said this, and I'm not sure I can never say that's what happened, but I always used to say in a joking manner is that one morning a kid woke up, had a joint in his hand, and heard some music on the radio, and just said, "Oh man, that's funky." and from
probably.
that point on, the music, was we were a syncopated band more than the rest of the country, the James Browns and the Sly Stones and them. We played off of one. We didn't play on one. So it meant that our grooves were pocket. Was basically around syncopation because it was off of, it wasn't down on the downbeat, which probably is the reason why we never had a number one hit. Is because people just quite didn't know where one was.
Well, but in that same vein, though, you guys did have hits because you guys touched. A lot of people don't know this. Dr. John's Right Place, Wrong Time, Lady Marmalade, LaBelle, Sneaking Sally Through the Alley, Robert Palmer, Allen's Southern Night. I mean, you guys did have hits. I mean, whether or not your name was on them,
Right.
but
We were members of those of the hit parade.
right. I mean, yes, you guys were like, what's that group, the Motown Brothers? What do they call them?
Yeah, I know. I can't think of the name of it either.
Yeah, you guys were there for a lot of it, and a lot of people don't know that you guys were the ones that were doing that session work, and I mean that's amazing. But I want to pivot just for a second because I heard a story, and I'd love to hear your version of the story, your recollection of it. Opening for the Rolling Stones, and just tell me exactly how that went down, because the Rolling Stones have this. They love all different types of music. They have a really high reverence for blues, and they have they have this really high reverence for it. And it happened with Prince in 1978 or 7, or whenever it was that they had Prince open up for the Rolling Stones, and he was like booed off stage, and they were throwing things at him. But they seem to have the propensity for picking bands that really don't match well with their audience. But what was your story as far as opening up for the Rolling Stones and the reception that you got?
Well, I think the originally the how it happened is because in Europe the meters were we had big records, and the just first 3 albums did really well on that's in the late 60s and the early 70s in Europe. We went over there, I want to say 1971 maybe, with a New Orleans package. It was Dr. John,
Wow. Nice.
Earl King maybe, and then Alan Toussaint, and the Meters. Oh, Professor Longhair. Snooks Eagleton was supposed to be on that trip, but at the airport that the morning we was flying out, his wife just had a funny feeling, and she said, "Nah, Snooks not going," and she backed away. We played. I think it was not King Arthur. What is Alfred?
Alfred Hall.
Prince Albert Hall, is it?
Yeah.
Prince Albert Hall. And at the end of our concert, the British elite, all came out to see us play, and came back to say, came back and say introduce it. It was the Rolling Stones. It was McCartney. It was I think it was Many Faces, Small Faces, or Faces.
Small Faces.
But that Ronnie Woods was the bass player. Ron Woods was the bass player in that band at the time.
Rod Stewart, I think.
And the Rod Stewart thing. And so, and I think it was a Protocol Harem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
So it was
God.
like 4 or 5 of those. Those 4 I can remember, but there was I
Wow.
think it was a 5th one. And so
Wow.
the Meters were a well-known band over there in Europe. But by 75, Ron Woods was now the guitar player in the Rolling Stones, and on the tour was that 75 tour started in Louisiana, up in Baton Rouge, and Ronnie has gotten Keith's ear, and said, man, if we're gonna play in Louisiana, bro, we need to get the Meters to be our opening band, to open for us. And Keith and Jagger, put their heads together and they said, yeah, let's do it. And that's how we got the call. And after that first opening show in Baton Rouge, the guy who wrote the article about the concert said that these 5 elegantly dressed black men came out on stage playing cowbells, and singing "Fire on the Bayou." And then at the end of his piece, he said, "Finally, the Rolling Stones got a band that'll make them come out and play." And apparently he wasn't a big Stones fan. I guess I'm not sure, but we did. I think on the U.S. tour in '75, we did 13 dates, and then the next year we were invited to do the whole tour in Europe. '76, we were out there with him 93 days.
Well, the story that I was referring to, I had heard a story that there was a show that didn't go well or something, or you weren't being received well, and that Keith.
Oh, that was Paris. That was the first night in Paris. Oh yeah, we got stuff thrown at us, and we kind of left the stage, and the people were howling and booing, and Keith and Jagger said, "Nah, y'all gonna play. Y'all come. Let's go back out here on the stage," and brought us back out on stage, and we were we went back into Fire on the Bayou, and they stayed out on stage. But Jagger basically told them, man, if y'all listen to these guys, y'all gonna like them, and they stayed out on stage with us almost through the whole song, and then they left the stage, and we finished our 35-minute set, and the next 2 nights in Paris was excellent.
Wow.
But France was the only place that we ran into any flashback. The French did not want to hear us play. They wanted the Rolling Stones.
Which is really unusual because nowadays in France, they are really, just Europe in particular, but even in France, they really embrace anything funky, anything that has that vibe. It's like really, really big over there right now. So that's amazing.
This is 1976, though,
Right? Yeah, it's a different time for sure. One of the opportunities I got to see you was with and I have a bunch of photos. I need to send you some photos. When you played with a collective called Foundations of Funk with Eddie Roberts from the New Master Sounds, and it always like intrigues me when you do these variations of the Meters, because it was you, it was Eddie Roberts, it was Zigaboo, it was
Samuel is the keyboard player from New Master Sound, or was it Medeski?
It was Medeski. It was Medeski. Yeah. So, and it was like, these collectives are just unbelievable, and it always boggles my mind that an album or something, a live recording, doesn't get released as a result of it. Or is there any type of project that you played with in the past, something like that, where you were just like, man, that was an amazing time, that was a magical night, I wish that people could have heard whatever that project was?
I record every gig I play.
That's a question.
Every gig I play.
Every single one.
Every gig that I play. No, I can't take that. Not every gig, because if I'm a guest on somebody's project, then no, that gig won't. I won't set up my recorder. But any gig where like the Foundation of Funk, the Running Pardners, the original Meter, well, any of the Meter concept bands, my Zoom recorder, full track recorder, is plugged up and set up and records every night. All of those gigs are in my archive, and you're right. There was that gig with Eddie Roberts and John was an amazing evening. Zig was not very pleased with it. He thought that John stretched too much.
Yeah, but even Zigaboo's worst day is like,
yeah,
here,
and I always told him, I said, man, that's the new era, man. I mean, Eddie Roberts didn't stretch much, which playing with Leo stretches hard, and doesn't leave room for the keyboard player to stretch because he's doing all the stretching,
Yeah, Eddie doesn't really stretch much. I love the new master sounds, but Eddie is a master at kind of like what you were saying, just sitting in that pocket and just letting it breathe. It's just like let somebody else kind of do their thing. If he does it really good. That's amazing. But there is a collective that I'm really, really curious if you have a recording of, and a lot of people don't know about this. But back in the day, I want to say it was the 70s. It was you, Art Neville, Zigaboo, Leo, and Stevie Wonder. And there was a project called Super Ego that was from 1979 that notoriously, I guess, Stevie Wonder was putting together this project and you guys were doing something, but the project never saw the light of day. Can you tell me about this project and anything about it?
I've heard about that project. I have no recollection of it. I mean, I knew I was getting high back then, but I don't ever remember missing that whole thing. I would never. I know that Stevie Wonder, the very first Jazz and Heritage Festival that was done out on the fairgrounds, Stevie came out and played 2 songs with the band, the Meters, one on keyboards and one on drums, and that was the only time in my life that I remember being even being in the presence of Stevie Wonder. And but people have asked me about this record, I think I asked somebody else. I don't know if it was Zig or Leo. I asked them, do they remember that? And neither one of them told me anything about it. Now you see, I know Leo Nocentelli has probably played with a lot more people out there in the world, and he may have done a project with Stevie somewhere. But no, unfortunately I wasn't there.
Well, I'm sharing a Wikipedia page right now. This is Stevie Wonder's Super Ego is what this is called. This is on Wikipedia, which is pretty, they're pretty, stout in making sure that things are factual. And it says here, Super Ego is a short-lived instrumental project conceived and produced by Stevie Wonder in 1979. Stevie, who had been growing his interest in electronic music, tried to create an album with constant BPMs and heavily using overdubbing techniques. Often counting with the Meters as his backing band, Stevie recorded 2 albums, Volume 1 and Volume 2, at his home studio in Detroit. Through a 9-month period, both albums were finished and never released, then abandoned due to lack of commercial power. And it has the members as Stevie Wonder, Art Neville, Ziggy Modaliste, Leo, and you. And this is on Wikipedia. So I happened to stumble on this page when I was like, holy crap, I need to find out about this project. So I
have no remember. I know I was getting high. I'm not going to deny that. But okay, I don't ever think I was that high.
You would forget 9 months of your life.
Man, and that's the first time I ever seen the write up. I've been hearing, I've heard about a bunch of, I've been asked about it
Wow.
several times. You know,
That's incredible. Well, that's good. See, this is where we kind of break news and just say this didn't happen. Well, unless we could, get we
unless
could,
we can find, I mean, Stevie's still around. We need to make him. If that was done, and I've never been to Stevie's home. I know, I ain't never been to Stevie's home. I promise you that I've never been in Stevie Wonder's home. So
that's just insane. I did want to get to the answer to that one question. You started to answer it a little bit when we were talking about how you actively record all of your live show. Is there a specific recording of a show that you've done where you were just like, God dang, I really wish that more people would have an opportunity to hear this? And the second part of that question is, do you ever plan to like actively release these? Is it like on something like, what's that live music site? Is it Nugs or whatever?
no, yeah, Nugs, yeah.
I think there's like a bunch of different live. Do you submit these live recordings anywhere, or just for your?
I've never done that, and it happens for two reasons, and one is that, I mean, some of the music is cover stuff of other people's stuff and projects, so it would be a licensing nightmare.
Right.
I mean, you can put that stuff out there and just let them come after you, which way, if that happens, it can cost you more than just trying to license it.
Right.
That would probably be the major reason why a lot of that stuff would never get now I can give it away, and my thoughts was that at some point I was probably gonna just start going through stuff and start doing that. I mean, for a while there used to be a thing with some kids out of Colorado. I used to do thing. They called it a tree or something like that.
Oh yeah,
a live trees or something like that.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I used to give them when I was the stuff that I had that was on DAT tapes back then. I mean, I must have 500 or 600 DAT tapes of gigs. The last 10 years, last 15 years or so, I've been using a Zoom recorder. So all of them are audio files, and they record to a little smart disc. And I dropped that smart disc once it fills up. It has 15 hours on it. I drop it on a hard drive. So now it's on a hard drive, and I have like three 200 terabyte drives full of those tapes, full of those gigs. So I mean, there's thousands of gigs.
What's the plan for them? I mean,
I have no plans. It's just, I mean, I guess once I'm going away, somebody will come through and they can take a chance on going and put that stuff and give it away. Or,
oh my gosh!
I have, yeah. I mean, I record everything. I never take anything for granted, because like this new album that Running Pardners did. Just a lot of that music, were pieces of it were conceived on a live gig, at a Maple Leaf night. We would jam into some stuff. Usually at the Maple Leaf, the first 25 minutes of that gig is just off the top of my head. And so I go back and I revisit that first 25, 30 minutes. And so picking pieces here and a piece there, because that 25 minutes, they may have 2 or 3 pieces of music in there that we take and complete, and
right.
that's the way it was. The last album we did, Crying for Hope, I wrote that record. I wrote I think probably 7 of those songs in my living room, waiting for my dog to come back from doing her business. So I let her out and I sit downstairs with my acoustic guitar, with my acoustic bass, and just, play into the telephone, and then go back to bed, wake up around 10, 11 o'clock, go upstairs to the studio and drop that audio file into the computer and start mapping it out.
Man, it's just amazing to me, because when I think of, I'm gonna just scroll through some meters photos here, just some of these things, see if any of these pictures just kind of hit you and you're just like, oh my God, I remember that day.
Yeah, I do.
So, some of these things. I mean, you have graced. It kind of leads into this next question. I only got a couple more questions for you, and then we're going to listen to a clip of this new single that you have out called Tito's Dumpling Machine. Just a minute clip, but I want everybody to get a piece of this, because when this album comes out, you guys all need to pick this up, because if this is a taste, then we're ready for the buffet for this for sure. But you have graced the albums of so many artists. Robbie Robertson, Dr. John, Alan Toussaint, Solomon Burke, Albert King, Jimmy Buffett, Willie DeVille, Robert Palmer, and not even those are all late artists, and not to mention, too many of the Nevilles that have left us. And as I said, that list that I read is the tip of the iceberg of musicians that you've worked with and that have passed on, and all of them seem like at the time they would have been with us forever, but that's how life works, but their impact on music is monumental. Does any of that cross your mind, when you look at how many musicians you've known and revered that have passed on, and does that affect your writing style or your sense of urgency internally to kind of make sure that you kind of get everything out that you need to when you're writing at all?
I don't think it's as much as the urgency it is. It's just just remembering where you came from. On I believe it was the album before the last one, the Full Crying for Hope. I wrote a song called oh geez, getting old is something else, man.
Yeah, I bet.
Talking about my old friends. And it was a kind of ballad thing, and again, it was written with just me and the bass guitar sitting by the sofa downstairs, and I was just playing this pattern, and then I sent it to Mike Limler, my keyboard player, and he formulated the chords around what I was playing. And then when he sent it back to me, I said, "Oh wow!" So then at that point, I started taking and mapping out, A, B sections of the song, and then wrote a solo section that wasn't there before, and then sent that to him, and I call Mike my music arranger, because he takes my thoughts and he puts them in the A, B, and C sections of the song, and he sends it back to me and say, "Is this what you're talking about?" And I say, "Oh yeah, but make this B section a little longer or something like that, or make it shorter,
Right.
And that's but that song was talking about, Earl King, Eddie Bow, and Snooks Eaglin. There's old friends, and I think the last verse of the song was that it's not like it's getting me down. I just miss having them around, and sometimes when the lights are low, I remember Earl, Snooks, and Bo, and those, I would think that by now I need to write more lyrics for more artists, because the Alan Toussaint, Art Neville, Nick Daniels, the young bass player from Dumpster Funk, who just passed away, a young man. He just.
Oh yeah.
There's so many of these guys that's going away now.
Yeah, it was because, your presence is kind of Dumpster Funk is that I'm drawing a blank on his name too. All right. I'm sure one of the people here that's in the live, the guitar player for Dumpster Funk.
You're talking about Tony Hall.
Tony Hall, right. Yeah, right. Yeah, that was a shock. Man, it's just amazing to me. It's just again,
Tony's not dead.
Not.
It was Nick Daniels that passed away.
Hold on a second. Wait a second. No, hold on a second. I'm gonna pull it up. That's not who I'm thinking of. Yeah, not Tony. Yeah, you right. Nick Daniels, what you said.
Nick Daniels, yeah.
Yeah.
The bass player, the second bass player.
Yeah, some of these guys are just so young, and you just don't, when you think of, again, their presence is just so monumental and so impactful in the things that they do, and we're losing these legends just way too quick.
Oh
It's
yeah,
just
absolutely, absolutely.
it's just it really is a shame. One of the things that I will say though, and I find this really, really interesting in the core of um of the meters, is how many times you guys have been sampled in hip hop. I can't even I can't
I don't
even
know.
I
The
can't even wrap my head around how
yeah,
many times I hear, like, I go, "Oh my god, that's."
yeah. The last I heard, there was like about 170 some odd samples, and I do know that this one song, Cordova. Cordova had there was about 10 or 12 samples of that song, that lick, and for different songs, and they were hits. They were hits in that community. That community. Queen Latifah had a hit on us. Heavy D had a hit on us. With All the Girls Love Me. That was our song, Thinking. You know, there's a lot of and then you never know about the stuff that was just being sold out the trunk of the cars, that didn't make commercial values, or hits.
Yeah, that's just, I mean, it's pretty incredible. I mean, it's just, you guys been just around forever, and it's just is there a favorite that you have? Is there a favorite hip hop song that you heard your clip and you were like, "Oh, I
I,
like
I
this."
don't have I don't have a favorite because I'm not particularly a fan of of the thing. I mean, my problem with it, with the hip hop community, was out of anger. It's just I just thought that the sampling thing just could have been done better. Even though that I kind of thought that um, you know disc jockeys that got this music and knew that, man, I think that'd be a great idea that we play All the Girls Love Me, and then after I play All the Girls Love Me, here, let me play the song where this came from, and introduce the meters to that audience. I'll tell you a great story. The Funky Meters was out in California, and that was the band was Art Neville, Russell Baptiste, Brian Stokes on guitar, and myself. And we went out on. They had the opening band was sort of like a hip hop kind of band, and they did their thing, and then and there was like 12 of them. It was a big band for a hip hop thing. What more dancers than artists. And so they, after they said, they went off in their dressing room, and we went out on stage to go play our set, and we played Thinking, we played Cordova, and we did it was three. I think we did Africa, and um when we started those songs, the band would run out to the stage and check us out. Looking at us, you can see them all standing on the side, looking
Uh,
at what we were doing, and looks kind of confusing, kind of figuring out. They thought they was gonna go into the song that they knew those licks came,
right.
part of. So
Yeah.
at the end of the night, they came over. A couple of the guys out of that group came over and told Russell Betts. He said, "So man, it sure was cool how y'all took those songs and turned them and turn them into something else. That was some great licks, man." And Russell just lost his shit on them. He said, "Nah, you so and so, you silly so and so and stuff. That's those guys' original songs." Those guys are stealing their stuff. Russell was screaming at him.
Gosh.
But I mean, there's a lot of the young bands that's out there in that community don't really know, that where those hits originally came from. And,
Right.
and I always say, man, if I would have been a disc jockey back then, I would have been dropping. I would have been dropping both. You'd have heard All the Girls Love Me, then you'd have heard Thinking, you know, and the Queen Latifah's. I can't remember what her song was, but I would have played both tracks. I would have played both songs and said, "Hey, this is that groove. This is that original pocket."
There is a there's some people that do Twitter or X.com or whatever they're calling themselves now. There is actually an account, and I don't know if they have presence on. I don't know if they have presence on other platforms. They may, but there is an account on Twitter called @Songs and Samples. So it's just songs and samples, but you always put that @ sign in front of it. @Songs and Samples. And when a hip hop song that gets really, really big, they show you where the original song came from. They said, here is where this song actually came from. Here's how they slowed it down or sped it up.
Yeah.
Or here's the portion that they use, and they actually kind of show you how they incorporated it into the song. So not only that you get an appreciation for the song as it is, if you're a fan of hip hop, but you also get to see behind the scenes how the song was created and where they got that music from, which like I said, is so important.
That's cool.
Cool.
I wasn't familiar with that.
Yeah, it's called Songs and Samples if you go to Twitter, it's @Songs and Samples, and you can check them out there. But I want to play a little 1 minute, it's like 1 minute and 14-second clip of your new track the new single that's out now called Tito's Dumpling Machine. We're going to play a little track. Give me a little bit of background on it. If you want to do that beforehand, tell me a little bit about Tito's Dumpling Machine before we listen to this.
Well, the story is kind of like we had friends that partook of the Tito's the alcohol.
Right.
And so it was a play on that, So I can't go into any more details.
Oh my God! Now I need to know. All right, yeah, I got to figure out how Tito's gets to Dumpling Machine.
But Tito's and dumplings get together.
Right, exactly. And the machine. Okay, let's take a listen to this minute clip. Everybody enjoy this here just for a second. There you go. That was a little clip from Tito's Dumpling Machine, which it's got a story. If you ever get George on the side, just have him tell you. Maybe we can get the story.
I had to change positions because my iPad was running out of gas.
Oh, that's all good. But George Porter Jr. and the Running Pardners got a brand new album called Porter's Pocket that comes out February 7th, 2025. So I am so glad that you're already dropping the singles. Like this new single is available on all the music platforms. You can kind of go back. It's got Michael Lemler and keyboards, Terrence Houston, Chris Adkins, and of course yourself. It's going to be a great project coming out next year, February. And again, I cannot reiterate enough what an honor it is to have you on here. I mean, you are the New Orleans funk legend, and it has been an honor having you on here. And if there's anything that you want to say about the brand new album, anything
Chris, I think that it's it was like a dream come true, you know, for for most parts. Is that it was the first time that the whole band was in a studio recording. You know, because you know the previous recordings were all done in different studios at different places. The Crying for Hope album, we all were in 4 different studios, you know, because that was during COVID. You know, we did the whole record, you know. So I was at my house in my studio. Michael was at his house in his studio. Chris was at his house in his studio, and Terrence had a friend. He would go to his friends. So we would put all our parts in, and Terrence would play against the whole. He had the whole picture, and he would play drums against the whole picture. You know,
that's crazy. So that was during COVID, because that came out
during COVID. Yes,
because you were actually Crying for Hope was actually on Funkatopia. Every year I do a best funk list where I pick the 20 best albums of that year. We'll be doing it at the end of this year as well. And Crying for Hope was on the 2021 list. And last year you were on there as well because you were part of the Floki sessions.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So you were on you seem to live on the best funk list, and rightfully so, because so in this particular case, though, you're saying everybody was in the studio all at once. You guys were all
we were actually looking at each other.
That's incredible. That's always good. You can always get right on the money for sure.
Right.
Make eye contact. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor having this bass legend in here, and thank you so much for your time. Give it up for the one, the only George Porter Jr. Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks for having me, Christopher. Yeah, you're right.
Absolutely. And we will look for that album, and it will be on the best funk list of 2025, I'm sure.
Also, you know, I think it's Color Red is going to drop another single in December too.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
I'm not. I don't know. I'm not sure if they're waiting on me to send them a name, or they're gonna pick it and surprise us. I'm not sure how that works.
Well, let me just tell you, one of the takeaways for sure that is a shocker to me is that you and the Meters did not get to name the Sissy Strut song. That to me is a huge takeaway. That one of your biggest hits, you didn't even have a hand in naming. That's unbelievable to me. Unbelievable. That's incredible. Ladies and gentlemen, George Porter Jr., thank you so much for stopping by.
Where are you?
I'm in Atlanta. I'm in Atlanta. You see the ATL.
You're in Atlanta. Oh, okay.
ATL. Yeah, so if I'll be watching for you guys. If you happen to be in the area, please let me know. Either let Leah know, I will be wherever, or any of the states to touch. If you guys happen to be popping into North Carolina every now and then.
Yeah, last weekend we were in Savannah on Thursday, at Asheville on Friday, and what's that? Charleston on Saturday. And
I got to talk to Leah then, because she should be letting me know this. So it's not that far. My daughter lives outside that area in Charlotte, so I can just no reason why I can't go. So, all right. I'm looking forward to it. February 7th, 2025 is when the brand new album drops. It's called Porter's Pocket. Any notes on the name Porter's Pocket?
Yeah, I believe that it was our Christopher Chris Atkins came up with that name, and we were throwing around names in the green room at the Leaf one night, and Chris said, man, it'd be Porter's Pocket, man, and Michael Lemon said, I second. So
there you go.
It was only the 3 of us up there. I wasn't all that crazy about naming it after me. I thought, let's pick a name, And so I got outvoted by 2.
No, it's fine. We love it. I cannot wait to hear it. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Good night, guys.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen. George Porter Jr. Man, please, that is a legend right there. That is a bass legend, part of the fabric of funk. Even though he even said it, as far as like they didn't really categorize themselves as funk at the time. I mean, if you go onto any list that says, okay, here are the top 50 funk bands, or even the top 20 funk bands, guarantee you the meters are going to be somewhere in that mix. It's just the reality of it. I mean, George has been on, it seems like whenever, Rolling Stone does their top 50 bassists of all time, or, he's always there. He's always on there. Not to mention the fact that he also received a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award back in 2018. Dude's a legend. Dude is a friggin' legend. It's just unreal. Oh, Funky Blogs in the house. What's up, man? Oh my God. He says, almost forgot a chance to sit next to him. Slight reason, man. That's crazy. Yeah, I almost you said on a flight recently. Yeah, I've had that happen before where I've sat next to people and started talking to them, and you always got to be careful because you're just like, you never know who you're sitting next to. It always kind of it's funny that way. All right. So that was the interview with George Porter Jr. If you missed any part of it, tune in. We got some other stuff to talk about. Like, for instance, there is an unreleased track of Prince's that got dropped over the past 24, 48 hours. DJ Rashida put it out there. So let me time out. Apparently, supposedly, DJ Rashida was the one that put this track out there, but once it hit, it was kind of like a little bit everywhere. And I don't, we don't really know where it's come from. Anytime that I hear something where it's like an unreleased track or a found track, especially one that's really kind of a little bit well produced, you're like, is this AI? Is this, are we kind of being tricked? But I want to, there's a couple things I want to talk about. First, I want to talk about, before we play this track, I want to do a little sidebar here, to talk about the Purple Rain House. And then because it's going to have a good segue, because in the Purple Rain House that is out on Airbnb, you can go, and actually I'll share this screen here. You can actually go into and we've talked about this many times before. You can go into the Purple Rain House and you can see all of this amazing stuff. You can see the rooms, the bathtubs, the toilets. I mean, the guitars are there. There's slippers that are there. There's all kinds of memorabilia and whatnot all through this house. And what is really, really cool about this is that you can go and you can actually stay here, and it's just so much that's here. But the problem that I have is that it actually creates way more questions than answers. But the other part of this, the segue that I was referring to, is that you're also supposed to be able to hear some unreleased music. And if you can hear unreleased music, what are those songs? So there's more questions than I have answers to. So I got a direct message from direct message from Funkatopia and Greg Brown, who said, we stayed at the Purple Rain House. Here's some photos. Here's whatnot. And I started asking questions, and I was trying to get some information, how much does this cost and everything. And every time I dig deeper, it just brings up more questions. So I wanted to bring Greg on, who I've never got. I don't think we've met personally. I don't think. I if I meet so many people when I go to celebration and stuff, but I don't know. Let me bring Greg on because he just got done staying at the Purple Rain House. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Funkatopia and Greg Brown. What's up, man?
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
I see you with your Packers. Like I got my Outcast Falcons gear on, which actually was actually really nice. It's getting cold enough where I can actually wear it. But all right. So all right, first off, let me say you sent me a really, really incredible video, and I don't know what the sound of this video, and I tried to download it and upload it up to Google Drive and whatnot, and for some reason, something was getting really weird. So I may have to share it later. But I want to ask some questions about this. All right. First thing, they say this house is available for people to go in and rent and stay in and whatnot. Every time that I've ever visited that Airbnb page, it always says sold out, or the option to be able to stay there is not an option. Okay. So there's the first thing. So let's start there. How were you able to book this? Were you approached and they said, yes, come? How were you able to stay in the house?
I'll go back because I want to say it was either your post on Funkatopia or it was something in October, early October, that announced that Airbnb had the Purple Rain house that was going to be available, but you had to wait until I think it was October 6th to go and actually book. I think the only things were you had to be an Airbnb member on the app, and then you could get on that morning, whatever, and put in your application or your entry. Apparently, this was announced back in May. I don't have Airbnb. I didn't have it up until this point. Yeah. So I think, they announced these icons back in May 1st. I think there were like 11 different icon opportunities. Barbie house, all kind of things. And I didn't know about it until October. And I think I saw your post and you said, oh, who's going to do this? The Purple Rain house. I'm like, what? So I went to Airbnb and, checked it out, and, everything's from Wendy and Lisa. So I waited until that morning and, like everybody else, I put in my entry, it asked for personal information, why you'd like to stay at the Purple Rain house, and if there are any particular dates you wanted to do, because I think it was only going to be available from October 26-ish until December 14th. There were going to be 25 dates in there that 25 winners would be notified, and through a random drawing, they would get a certain number of entries, and then they would read the essays or whatever and decide, who is a good fit for it. So I think the random part, I have no idea. I had no.
So is it not going to be available to anybody after the 14th?
That's a good question.
Okay.
They've got to do something. They put a lot of money into this place.
Right. So here's the other thing. We're going to kind of dig into this a little bit, because here is the other thing I didn't understand, and I'm still trying to process what is happening here, because I go on and after you told me, I was just like, oh my gosh, I kind of am a little bit hesitant to ask him about how much he paid to stay at this place. I was like, all right, let me see if I can find out how much it costs. And I said, how much does it cost to stay at the Purple Rain house in Minneapolis through Airbnb? And like 5 different things came up. It said $7 per person. And I said, this is AI is lost its mind. It's not $7. How much is it to friggin' stay at this house? This is the Purple Rain house. They put all this money into it. It's got all this memorabilia and all this stuff inside this house. I asked you, I said, can I ask you how much you paid to stay in this house? And you told me,
for 4 of us, it was $23.56, I believe. It was actually less than $7 a person.
What the?
Yes.
I don't understand. I don't understand. Now, I did see they said the reason why they chose $7 was because it was Prince's favorite number or whatever. Right. I could see maybe $77 per person. Mm-hmm. Why was it $7 per? Because I can't even process. I can't process why it's $7. Well, you can't even, that doesn't even pay for, I don't,
No.
I don't understand. Why was it $7? Do you have any idea, any explanation as to like, here's why we only charge $7? I can't even stay at a rat infested crap hole hotel for $7. I think it costs more for me to sleep in my car.
Yeah.
Any explanation whatsoever? The reason?
None. Zero. I think when I got the golden ticket, when they finally announced it, I said, okay, what's the catch? So I texted a few of my friends that put entries in. I said, I'm sure everybody got this golden ticket, and now you have to jump through some hoops. So I texted them all. I said, did you guys get this golden ticket about, your dreams have come true? And they're like, no, we didn't get anything. So then I go deeper into it and I said, congratulations, whatnot. Decide what guests you're going to bring along and, get in the Airbnb site within 24 hours and confirm. And this is the cost. I think I got my card. I put my numbers in and it was $23.56. So I'm still waiting for the catch to come. I said, there's got to be something more. There's got to be some kind of catch. Like you have to reserve some other
go ahead.
That maybe you have to, like a timeshare or something. You have to commit to something else. And I'm waiting. And no, I started getting messages from the host and they were, telling us what's going to happen and, just some more information on who I was bringing, if we had dietary restrictions. And we just waited for the day to come. And it's just unbelievable.
So let's talk about the dietary restrictions, because not only did it only cost you $23 for the four of you to stay there, what else was included food-wise?
I won't say the number, but I've already seen it on a website. I think it's a Purple Pool or so I'll have to look it up. I'll get you the link. It's a clothing online store that's related to Prince, but the restaurant is called Darling Minneapolis. They posted about it. I guess there are two chefs that are connected to the restaurant that were Prince's personal chefs for about 4 years, and somehow they've got the connection with Airbnb and the Purple House, and they provided dinner and breakfast. You could have it delivered. I tell you, we walked in. There wasn't anything we had to do. I
don't understand. Not only was it only $23 for the four of you to stay there. How many nights? One night? 2 nights?
One night. Yeah, we checked in at 4 p.m. on Friday the 22nd, and we checked out at 11 Saturday morning. So,
but they also fed
us. And there were snacks. There were, whatever you wanted, candy. That was the thing. Things were curated according to Prince's likes. So there were certain candies there, certain drinks or, whatnot that Prince preferred, and they had that available for you.
It's just crazy to me. It's mind boggling. You got obviously shared some pictures. So let's talk about, I'll make reference to like the stuff that's in photos and stuff, because some of these rooms, obviously, there's a lot of memorabilia all around. Was there anything that you had to sign or anything that because it seems like a lot of this stuff, I mean, there's some things like, photos and things that are framed and whatnot that are probably bolted to the wall. Right. But it seemed like there was a lot of stuff, especially even on the Airbnb listing, that could easily just walk off.
It could. I know there's security that was on site. We never saw him, but we knew he was there. But it was very...
What do you mean?
Unintrusive. I think they kept... it was a reassurance that, we'd be safe in the house. So I think they just kind of stayed, near the premises. And I think there were cameras outside, but as far as inside the house, I guess it was just a trust thing, It was cool. I think that's what was different about this, we've been to Paisley Park, you know, for the museum tours, and you know how it is. It's,
Right.
you know, stay in your lane, don't touch anything. You know, you have to kind of stick with your tour. This one, I mean, we didn't see a person at all. We got there, walked in the gate, checked in the front door, and we were on our own for the whole day.
So like this on this picture here, you know, you've got
Mhm.
a boom box, there's like some candles and there's like some knickknacks and stuff. Is there a
Yeah.
plexiglass in front of that, or is all that just you can touch any of that stuff?
In that room, I think everything is out in the open. You know, the replica guitars, all of the little figurines, the boom boxes you could play if there were cassettes sitting near them. They had microphones all over the place. There's a drum set. Well, I mean, you saw the video. So, you know, the instruments were there to play. Everything in that room was pretty much, you know, open to the touch. If you wanted to, you know, touch one of the masks or the little dolls, whatever, they were just sitting on shelves.
And I mean, obviously, and as you said, they could easily just walk off.
They could. Yeah. Yeah. But I think you're just having so much fun in the place. I mean, the thought never really crosses your mind. You know, you see some things, and it was just a cool experience. It was an adult Prince amusement park, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, I think you kind of, you know, I think when you're in that zone or whatever, you're kind of like, I actually was able to get that video, so now I'm kind of looking to see. Oh, it's unfortunately it's in a MOV format, so I would have to format it first. So I'll share it a little bit later. But
Okay.
I guess there is a scene actually in this where you guys can actually go down into, I'm assuming, the basement area and actually play instruments.
Yes.
And that's just, I mean, it's unbelievable to me. That's the whole, I mean, that everything is there and you can touch it, walk away with it. So that leads us to the next question. I'll share his video, if it's with your permission. I'll share his video on Facebook.
Yeah, don't take me seriously.
No, I mean, it was great. I mean, it was a great little piece that you guys played.
It was fun. Yeah.
So, as far as like the unreleased music and the stuff that's out that was in the cassette recorders, was there things that you knew that were just like different versions of songs, or were there songs that you never heard before, or what were
you know, not that I could really tell. And, you know, maybe that was part of us just being overwhelmed by the whole place. And I wish we had more time, you know, to really dive into, you know, some of the things that were just sitting there right in front of us. You know, as far as, you know, what I can recall in that little bit of time, I don't know if that was anything we found, you know, anything unreleased, or, you know what I'm saying?
Did you listen to any of it at all?
We listened to a couple things that were, you know, there was some tape sitting there. It wasn't any like finished music or anything like that. I'll say that much.
But so there were basically tracks that weren't recognizable to you,
right? Yeah. No.
Yeah. So I'd probably recognize.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have
sure.
Collection is quite extensive. So, and when you listen to it 24/7, like I do,
you should have gotten like a press pass to go check it out, because it looked like a lot of people went and previewed it ahead of time.
I don't get press passes to Shiite. Not to the celebrations, not to any events that they do. I don't know. It's whatever. I know there are other people that do, but I don't, for whatever reason, you know. And we've had discussions. We've had sit down discussions, but nothing ever. It's like, I would love to, you know, blow it up for. Not that I need to blow it up for them. They don't need to. They don't need to promote that Purple Rain for sure. And I find it interesting that Wendy and Lisa, you know, were supposedly the host. That I'm sure that was not who you were communicating with.
I think around the house they had a lot of QR codes where they had personal, you know, recordings that you could listen to, and they described the certain things that were around the house. But yeah, I think except for the first visitor, I think they actually did visit the day that he was there. And I think you can, if you go to Wendy and Lisa's page, I think they show that posting where they met the first guest, and they actually showed up for that one. But yeah, we didn't see a soul the whole time we were there.
That's just
Check
great.
in or check out. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the only time that I've been to that house a few times. It's just one of those things when you go to Minneapolis, I have to buy it at least. Yeah. And one time, Rob and I went and we got out, and this was before the Airbnb thing at all, and it was just still an abandoned house. It had not been sold. It was still just sitting there, and we actually walked around the house, and we actually saw, which was surprising to me because the way that they show it in the movie. What they used for the back door to that is actually what they used as the front door in the movie.
Oh, is that so? Huh.
Yeah. So the way it was set up was just like, that's weird how they did that.
Yeah.
But I don't know how they've kind of restructured it and set it up since it's been the Airbnb thing. But man, it's just, again, it just creates more and more questions as to, why were they only charging $7? Yeah, it probably was a contest for this window, just to kind of people talking and maybe kind of getting publicity. But, why wouldn't you invited people that would have made sure that you could have gotten the push and the press that I know Anderson .Paak was there.
Yeah.
But as far as press and media to kind of get that ball rolling and saying this is that you need to experience it just seemed like it was really random who they picked to kind of come in there. I mean, no offense to you, but it was
right. No, I agree. I
don't know, it's very unusual, but thank you for coming on and kind of giving me a little bit of insight in this, because it was just really interesting. And you didn't see there was no cameras inside that you saw that you were aware of?
What I thought could have been cameras, I think they turn out to be spotlights or whatever. So, they're real good at putting that away. I'm sure it wasn't in any of the sleeping areas and bathrooms, but I don't know. We were having such a good time. We really didn't care after a while. We were dressing up and running around. I mean, it was like a bunch of kids. When we first got there, we kind of stayed in a group and kind of checked out the house. But then later on, you could see us all going in 4 different directions in the house, just all over the place.
Yeah,
it was funny.
Did you use the gold toilet? I'm assuming that one of the 4 of you had to go to the restroom during that period of time.
I plead the 5th.
So did you sit in the tub?
I did not, but my son did.
Okay. You got this.
He did for sure.
There's some things you got to take advantage of. Like, absolutely, I would sit in the tub and I would have somebody recording me slowly getting up out of it.
There were some pictures. Next time we see you in Minneapolis, we'll have to bring the book that we're about to make.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you got to make sure you share more pictures with me. I absolutely put it up. And once I get this video switched over, I'll put it up on Facebook for you guys to see, because
you got permission.
Greg and Sam, they actually were down there in the basement. They have a setup. All those instruments are down there in the basement. Well, it was just a regular standard backline drum kit.
Yeah. And then you could plug the Cloud and the Mad Cat up to the amp they had down there, and you could play them.
Oh, so they weren't just replicas; they were actually working.
Oh yeah, they were working guitars. Yep.
There you go. That's
microphones everywhere. Yeah.
Man, that's just crazy.
Yeah, it was cool.
Well, Greg, thank you so much for stopping in, giving us a little bit more insight into the Purple Rain House. And we're going to segue into here, but because I want to play this unreleased track that they've shared. You can stay in the green room and listen. But thank you so much for filling us in on what it's like to stay at the Purple Rain House, which just, once again, creates more questions than it answers. But thank you so much, Greg. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.
All right.
All right.
So, as I said, I should have put the little thank yous up and whatnot. So, as I said, the segue is that throughout this Purple Rain House, there is supposed to be unreleased music that is all through there, and I don't again, I don't understand how you would keep it from leaving there. Or at least recording what's on there, or recording what's on the cassette. And that's not where this came from, I wouldn't think. I don't know. Anyways, 24 hours ago, I want to say, less than 24 hours ago, it hasn't been more than a day. Apparently, supposedly, I don't want to get her in trouble, DJ Rashida released a track called Keep On Loving You. And I don't know anything about it. I don't know where it came from or any of that. It's like my glasses are crooked. I don't know where it came from or any of that. All I know is this song came out and people just kind of went, holy crap, where did this song come from? So I was like, all right, well, let me see if I can make like a clip of this. And I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to do a clip. Let's just play the whole song. Let's just take a 4.5 minute break and listen to this song that got released in some form or fashion. Somehow it's out there. And I don't know if there's any plans for this or if this was a plan to leak this track or not, but let's all listen together, shall we? It's a brand new Prince song called Keep On Loving You. And it is from, somebody said it's from 2002. And I don't know where they got that information from. I said this at the beginning of the show, is that the VIP folks that were at the celebration last year got to hear a song called Calabama, which was, a merging of California and Alabama. And someone said there was also supposedly plans for an album called Calabama, and that this track was considered for it, but I can't find any information on this track at all. It's not on Prince's fault. It's not. Everything that I'm hearing about this track is hearsay. Some people have labeled this as the 2002 era, which is kind of an unusual period of time because in 2002, there was not a lot of material released at all because Rainbow Children came out in 2001. And then I think there was like it was like a 2 or 3 year hiatus. So if it came out of that window, I don't know where that got that information. Anyways, I'll shut up. Let's listen to it together. And you guys can give me your feedback as I play it. Here it is, a brand new track that I don't know where it came from. It's called Keep On Loving You. Let's listen together.
Walking up on me like the finest thing I've ever seen. Oh my God, it's true. It is you. Like in high school, you were my homecoming queen. Tell me, baby, has it been that long? No, it's cool. Don't get me wrong. You look marvelous, and if you ain't got nothing going on, I say, look at you on the street. We could clean the backs up, kiss a horn, beat, and meet. Could be back before dawn, maybe. Whatever you want me to do, I got what it takes, it's true, to keep on loving you. I know last time I was a fool, but now I got plenty of cool to keep on loving you. So what you think? Can I buy you a drink? Put it in a big round glass. Something to make you forget the past. Think about it. Don't answer too fast. What time is it anyway? You and me, we got all night and each and every day. Do you want me to get in your space? I'm talking about the sweet perfume place where lovers go. Some call it sex, I call it the greatest show on earth. Hey, baby, I'm loving you. I'm gonna keep on loving you. in my ride. Whoever said this ain't the sickest, they lied. I ain't trying to brag. It's just that it's baby blue, and I got matching rags. Oh yeah, but it ain't got a body like your body, baby, cause your body is the best. Now get in the backseat and let me drive. Ooh, baby, around the world, greatest show on earth. Whatever you want me to do, I got what it takes, it's true. Keep on loving you. Keep on loving. I know last time I was a fool, but now I got plenty of proof to keep on loving you. Baby. Look here. Said I know more than I did then. Gotta love and try again. Keep on loving you. Yeah. Listen, bring more to your lips and a smile. Keep on loving your wife. Keep on loving you. Keep on loving you. Hey, baby. Keep on loving. Keep on loving you. Keep on loving. Keep on loving you. When it's finally over, you'll be crying, what happened to me? Was this real life or fantasy? You might not have faith, but whatever it's worth.
So there you go. That was the track. Now, I mentioned DJ Rashida a few times, and the reason why I mentioned it is because if you go on YouTube and you search for that song, Prince, Keep on Loving You, a few of the versions says DJ Rashida presents. So unless someone just threw her name out there and throwing her under the bus, that's kind of where that song came from. Anyways, yeah, it is absolutely 100% Anita Baker's Giving You the Best That I Got. That's kind of like remixed and kind of thing. So, and I agree. I think Violet says, if that's AI, it's good. This is so good. It's got, AI can do like a lot of different things, and it can take different elements and absolutely can. It's got enough of Prince's vocals out there with the hundreds and hundreds of songs that he has released that it absolutely knows all of his runs. It knows how he phrases things. It knows a lot about him. So if that's been if that was created by AI, just keep it coming up. I'll listen to stuff like that all day long. That'd be unbelievable. Yeah. So if you want to hear that song again, go to YouTube and search for Prince, Keep on Loving You. Cause I don't know what the plan is here with the volume of unreleased music that still is sitting in the can, sitting in the vault, wherever. I can't. It seems nonsensical to me. The amount of music that we have. I realize that one of the things that I think Spicer has said in the past was that they want to release new music. They want to get it out, but it's got to be right. It absolutely positively has to be right. I am waiting for, and one of the things that Prince said is that he has no problems with all of us listening to music together, even the stuff that has not been officially released. He has no problems with us listening to it. The problem comes is when you take it and you monetize it and you sell it and make money off of his work when you weren't given the right to do so. So, and we've had these back and forth discussions on Twitter when he was with us, and he said, fans don't get in trouble like this. Bootleggers get in trouble. So if this officially gets released in some form or fashion, absolutely, we will absolutely get down there and we will buy it. I think I can speak for everybody here. We will purchase it. I mean, you guys, see see my massive collection over here of all things Prince, and not just, I mean, again, these first two rows and this one right down here are all Prince. Like a majority of these albums that are up here on the top level are all Prince. I buy everything that the estate has sold or the estate has put to market since he has been gone, posthumous releases, I have purchased, with very few exceptions. I think it was a couple like remix. I didn't buy the Versace Experience because I already had that on cassette. I think I still have it on cassette over here. So it's like I didn't need it. So we absolutely will consume new material from Prince if you put it out, but you got to put it out. And when things like this happen, and there are tracks, beautiful tracks that have that's grown folk feel right there. That's grown folk. I am all about it. I'll buy it when it comes out. It's just, I absolutely will buy it. No questions asked. I'll buy it. So I'm looking for it, and let's get it. Come on, let's bring it out. Officially release it, because that's great quality track. But I do what you do on the production side of things, because to get that song in pristine audio quality, I'm for it. Yeah, do it. Tell me where to go. I'll buy it. Just, I just gotta, anyways, I'm looking forward to it, to an official release of that track, but I wanted to make sure that you guys listen to it together, because it's the reality of it. All right, let's talk a little bit about news and whatnot. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let's do news, shall we? Let's do news. To start, I should have known, but there is. I'll go ahead and talk about this, since I'm wearing an Outcast Falcons collab. I was one of the suckers that bought it. What are they saying? Joni's asking me to discuss Tori's post and Londell's rebuttal. I did not see that. That's if somebody wants to. Is it on Facebook? Is it on Twitter? I'll look at it. I have not. I don't really necessarily follow Torre. Seems like a great guy. Seems like really nice. He obviously was friends with Prince. Just I don't follow him, so I hadn't heard anything. So, anyways, so because I'm wearing this Outcast Falcons collab, as you know, being a Falcons fan is very, very tough. The one time we made it to the Super Bowl was iconic for all the wrong reasons. And so I get it. It's I could be a Browns fan. It could be worse. I mean, come on. But I thought this was funny because I saw somebody post this that I thought it was humorous. I'll share this screen that apparently, I don't know if this was a joke or not. It must have been a joke, but somebody posted on that the Falcons posted for the position of defensive coordinator on Indeed. So which I'm like, this has to be it's crazy. So if that's true, maybe we shouldn't do Indeed. Maybe that's where the problems start. Let's not let's not do that. Anyways, that's the reality of it. Andre 3000. We all love Andre. A lot of people are kind of annoyed about his foray into flute music. Was the album called New Blue Sun or whatever? Say what you will, but it's nominated for a Grammy. Yes, believe it or not, it's nominated for a Grammy. I don't remember what it's nominated for a Grammy, but Andre did do a interview, and he reveals that in 2025 he's going to be bringing new music for sure, but he doesn't want to pinpoint what it is. I would assume that he has pretty much shared that he is not really looking forward to really doing much more rap, and I don't know why, because that is what he's most known for and what he is the most talented at. So I'm hoping that it involves something musically and something that has got his voice on it and not just the flute stuff. Nothing wrong with the flute stuff. It's a very, very cool new agey album, but I am not, I want to see, more hip hop from him. I don't want to see much else. I just, that's what I want to hear. I just, that's what I want to hear. That's the reality of it. I don't know where this came from, but I am, I'm going to skip this one. I don't even know why I even put this on here. Has anybody else seen this? Somebody named Alexander. Oh, maybe it's Alexander. Never mind. It's not who it is. It's Ben Reek. I don't know who this person is, but they posted this special limited edition clear vinyl disc for Mountains. Has anybody else seen this? Let me share the screen. It is a clear, it's not a clear album. It's a clear album cover. Has anybody seen this thing? It is this, no, I just made it smaller. It is an album cover that you can actually see through. So the album itself is white, as you can see that it's playing on the turntable behind him, but the cover is clear. Has anybody else seen this, or does anybody own this? And if you do, where can I get this? Where in the world can I get this amazing album cover of Mountains? I'm gonna try to make it a little bit bigger, but I need to have this because this is pretty badass. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it, but it is on white vinyl. Again, Mountains. It's even got the time there and everything. That's just awesome. So if anybody knows where I can get this, I'm sure I can just look it up and maybe just find it on Discogs or something. But I saw it and I said, I need to share this with people just because it is what it is. And of course, I mentioned the fact that when we first started the show that many people didn't, I don't know if you're a hip hop fan or not, but Kendrick Lamar dropped a brand new album was like 3 days ago now, called GNX. And it is really harkening back to the 90s for sure. It's got a West Coast vibe all over it, and it's a really, really cool album. He's definitely clearing off his list of people he has beefs with, because he just kind of went out a bunch of different folks, including Lil Wayne, who was upset because I guess Kendrick is doing the halftime show at Super Bowl, and Lil Wayne got bypassed for it, and he made mention to it, but not as a diss to Lil Wayne, to basically just say, because Lil Wayne was feeling some sort of way that he didn't get picked, but Kendrick would kind of came at him like, what, I don't deserve a shot. I don't deserve the opportunity to be able to play the halftime show. Is that kind of what you're saying? And Lil Wayne was kind of upset. He actually wrote on X or Twitter, whatever you're calling it nowadays. He says, man, WTF did I do? Let's not take kindness for weakness. Let this giant sleep. I beg you all. No one really wants destruction, not even me, but I shall destroy if disturbed. On me, love. Basically saying, look, if you want to go beefing about this stuff, we can beef. We can beef if you want. Kendrick did not really have his hands full with Drake. Drake's not really a battle rap type of person. He very wholeheartedly lost that battle that he went into with Kendrick. But I don't think Kendrick realizes what he's getting into if he starts a beef with Lil Wayne. That's a whole different ball game. Because that's a whole different ball game. So it's just, that's the reality of it. But if you like Kendrick Lamar, he's got a brand new album out called GNX. It's on all the platforms. So if you missed it, you need to check it out because it's very, very cool. Another thing that happened today, matter of fact, it is the 33rd anniversary for Michael Jackson's album Dangerous. It's his 8th studio album. It was released in 1991. And I started to write this on the Facebook post, but I pulled back because I was like, I better not say this. I'm not going to say this. I shouldn't say this. I'm just not, because It was his 8th studio album, and by 1991, Prince was on his 13th album. So he was already 5 albums ahead of Michael Jackson, and Michael Jackson released his first album in 1972, and Prince didn't release his first album in 1978. So Michael Jackson had a 6-year jump on Prince, and Prince still was able to put out 5 more albums than him in that time period. And even with that 6-year head start, and that's not even including the how many albums that were not released. Like when you look at the fact that, you know, we got Dream Factory, you got Camille, you've got the Black Album that technically didn't see life until, sorry, I'm all wrapped up. It didn't see life until the 90s. That's just amazing to me. It's not anything. It's not any slight on Michael Jackson. It's just surprising that when I saw that it was only his 8th album in 1991 when he started back with the Jackson 5s, but we're just talking about just solo albums was like 1972. I can't even remember the name of the album, but it's just amazing to me. And yes, Lauren says, yep, Teddy Riley was on production, and he stepped away from Quincy Jones. This was the first album out for a while, since the mid 70s, that he did an album without Quincy, because he really wanted to make sure that he had complete total control. And I guess he kind of felt like Quincy Jones was very, very heavy handed about everything that he was that he had released. But look at the quality. Look at everything that Quincy was able to help him put out. Off the Wall, Thriller, Bad. I mean, come on. I mean, this album was very, very successful, for sure. Absolutely. It was very, very successful. But the reality of it is that it's not. Yeah. I'm not going to go into it. I'll just stop where I'm stopped. I hope you guys enjoyed. On the 21st, I mentioned this before when we were last week, when we started Prince Giving. We played all of Prince's music in chronological order from 1975 to 2021. So all those songs, all the ones I was talking about, everything is being played in chronological order. And it ended on Monday. It ended Monday. I think it ended Monday around noonish. So yesterday around noon. And in case you missed it, we started it again. Last night at 8 p.m. So we started it again at 8 o'clock last night. And I think it's still in the 80s right now. And it will play all the way until, I think, Friday at midnight. Let's see. Tuesday and Wednesday to Thursday and Friday. Yes, it will play until around 1 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. So it started again. If you have not checked it out, it's amazing. It's all of Prince's music in chronological order, and it's pretty fantastic. And that includes the Time stuff and Sheila E. stuff and Apollonia 6 stuff. All that stuff is in there. All you got to do is just download the Funked Up app and check it. Just download the Funked Up app. You do have to go to Patreon, because you do have to be a Patreon supporter in order to listen to Prince Giving this year. I'm not going to go into the reasonings why. You guys know why. It's primarily because of the ASCAP licensing and all the how costly it is. But you have to be a Patreon supporter. So you got to go to patreon.com/Funkatopia. Again, that's patreon.com/Funkatopia. You need to go there in order to get the password. And once you get the password, you can go on and you can listen to Prince Giving. And not to mention, stay a member, because then in December, we do Princemas, and Princemas is just as long. It's 4 days of live concerts, and it's pretty freaking amazing. So you definitely need to do that. Download the Funked Up app. You can go for iPhone, you can go to the Apple Store, you can go to Google Play, look for Funked Up, FUNKEDUP, or you can search for Funkatopia if you want, and download the app. Go to patreon.com/Funkatopia as you should scroll in right here, and get the sign up for Patreon. Doesn't matter what level. and get the password, and then tune in. Open up the app and click on the radio and click on Uptown Plus, and listen, enjoy, get into it. It's amazing. It's so much fun, and we just got done doing it all the way through, and now it started over again last night at 8:00. So we still got many days. It's going to go for the rest of the week. So it's going the rest of it will be playing all week. That's how much music he has that we have to get through. It's a lot. It's a lot. If you guys wanted to know a little bit more about, Lisa brings up a good point. If you wanted to do like a $5 donation or whatever, if you don't want to sign up with Patreon and you want to do something with Venmo or through Cash App, that's fine. With Venmo, if you do it, if you just want to do like a $5 donation or whatever, just to get the password, that's fine. I can message you through Venmo, but I can't message you through Cash App. The only thing I can do is do a heart or a thumbs up or whatever, or thank you. So if you do a donation through Cash App, make sure you email me at funkatopia@gmail.com to get the password, because I can't send you any messages through there. So sorry about that. If you've always wanted to know a little bit more about me, you really need to look at your life goals. But if you do have some sort of curiosity as to me, I actually did an interview that started tonight. Tonight it actually started. I actually did it tonight at 7:00. It premiered. My interview with Scott Goldfine, aka Dr. GX. You may remember him. He's done lots of funk interviews for funkinstuff.net. And he's been on the show a couple times also, but he actually interviewed me and found out a bunch of information about me, just kind of my background, childhood, all that stuff, and did a full interview. And if you want to check that out, you can go to, and it's live right now, you can go to funkatopia.com/GX. I'm sorry. That's funkatopia.com/GX. And it will take you right to the interview. It's there. So if you wanted to ever see me be interviewed, there it is. I'm being interviewed. And so listen, while I did actually have some soundstage stuff, I'm going to save that for later. I know we had like some other new music stuff, but that's okay. It's probably easier this way, because this way I can end at the 10:00 hour and we can just enjoy each other's company and whatnot. But I will tell you, December 3rd, which is the next Tuesday here, I don't know if there will be a show on December 3rd or not. I'll just go ahead and tell. I'm about to tell you who's going to be here December 10th, but December 3rd, I don't. You ever go to church and you invite somebody to church, and you never know, you don't know if they're going to come or not. It's kind of like how Funkatopia is, where, I talk to a lot of people, we have conversations, and I invite them, and, sometimes they write back, sometimes they don't. Sometimes we're in a conversation, or we're in discussions about when they can come on the show, and they're like, let me check, let me look at the schedule, let me look here, blah, 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 blah. And I have like literally probably about 10 open discussions of people that I am directly talking with that I want to have on the show. And it literally feels like you're sitting in church waiting for that person that you're invited. You're like, yeah, okay. It's like, well, the seat saved. They coming. You just don't know. That's how this feels. It's like, come on, give me a freaking break. But anyways, that all being said, December 3rd, I don't know if I'll be doing a show or not. I might take it off, because I might have to prep for my December 10th show, because December 10th, I hope you guys will definitely put it on your calendar. I will put it into the system tomorrow so that you guys have it on the Facebook calendar and whatnot. But on December 10th, I will be welcoming Sharon L. Nelson will be here, and I'm going to be sitting down with Prince's sister. It's correct. Sharon's going to be here on December 10th. I know y'all have some questions, and I've spoke with Sharon many times. Sharon has been on the show before, by the way, when her father's album came out, and we kind of discussed it, and we talked about childhood and whatnot. But just to be clear, she actually has a brand new book. Did I not put the book over here? I thought for sure I would have put this book. Oh yeah, I did. She has a brand new book that's out right now called When It Rains, It's Purple. And we're going to be talking about this book because it's called When It Rains, It's Purple. It says, this is a book about me. Prince just happens to be my brother. And it is a brand new book that's out, and I'm still in the process of reading it, but it's going to be an interesting interview for sure. Absolutely. But yes, Sharon L. Nelson will be here December 10th. So put it on your calendars. I will put it in the system so that you guys have access to it, but she's coming. It's going to be here, and I hope you will be too. That all being said, I hope you guys had a fantastic time. Listen, enjoy Thanksgiving. Please have some fun. You know, even if you don't like your family, have some fun, eat some food, just chill, relax, have a good time. Don't let things stress you out. I know a lot of you guys have some time off. If you're in retail, God bless you. Oh my God. Just God bless you. I've done retail during Black Friday, and it is crazy. It's crazy, especially if you're in a place that is really, really popular. I've got stories for days of some crazy things. But yes, again, if you're in retail, my prayers are with you for sure. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Just relax, enjoy yourselves. Just try to take it in. Try to just vibe in the moment and just chill and just kind of reset. If I see you on December 3rd, that's amazing. If I don't, it's cool too. I'll make sure something cool happens on December 3rd for sure. And also make sure, if you're not a Patreon supporter of Funkatopia, please make sure you do that, because there is a lot that goes into Funkatopia, and part of that is these radio stations. The 3 radio stations that are available to you on that Funked Up app are ASCAP licensed radio stations. So I do pay ASCAP licensing fees on this music. So that's the reason, one of the reasons why we had to move some of the stuff around, and why Prince-Giving, you have to be a Patreon member to get Prince-Giving. So download that Funked Up app, become a member of patreon.com/Funkatopia, even if it's just for November and December, because you get Prince-Giving this month, and next month you're going to get Princemas, which is live music, lots of live music, a week's worth of live concerts, which is going to be fantastic. So download that Funked Up app, or just search for Funkatopia wherever you get your app from, whatever phone you use. Thank God we don't have Windows phones anymore. So it's either iPhone or Android, if it's ever one. Just download the app, go to patreon.com/Funkatopia and join up and get that password and join into the show. And let me just see, I will, while we're sitting here, I think I may have closed the window, but I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to see exactly where where it's at right now, so we can see exactly. I'm going to just curious what time frame we're in on Prince-Giving right now, just so I can see, just so you can get an idea. How much did I miss? Well, you didn't miss what you missed, like the Purple Rain stuff. You did miss that, because that actually happened in the middle of the day today, which was friggin' awesome, by the way. It's awesome. Right now it is playing. Boy, I can't even tell what it's playing. It's in the 80s, because we are still doing, it's playing Jill Jones stuff. It's playing, we're in Sign of the Times era right now is where we're at, but they are playing the loose songs that were not part of albums. So you normally play the albums from that year, but also play like the loose songs that did not find it on albums, like we've played, and that says what, the Ballad of Dorothy Parker with the horns version, Big Tall Wall, the 2 versions of Big Tall Wall, all that, An Honest Man. So all these different, we're playing loose songs right now from the Sign of the Times era. So this is a fantastic time to tune in. Get that app, Funked Up. get the password from patreon.com/Funkatopia by becoming a member. And it's a great, amazing, what I guess theme music for Thanksgiving for sure. I mean, it's pretty amazing. Anyways, thank you guys so much. Is there a link for my interview? Yes. Just go to funkatopia.com/GX, which is the funkatopia.com website /GX for good times. GX, Dr. GX. And just check it out and it will go right to you. Okay. Thank you guys so much. Hope you guys have a fun time. Thank you so much for George Porter Jr. for dropping in. Make sure that you pick up his new single, Tito's Dumpling Machine, and also get ready for that brand new album that's going to be coming in February called Porter's Pocket. And it's going to be fantastic. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been an amazing night. Maybe we'll see you next week. Maybe not. I'll let you know either way. Good night, everyone. Have a good one.